Welcome, everybody. My name is Andy Warren. This is Hameed. We'll be talking a little bit about replacing traditional processes with XR training technology. But before we get started, I do want to ask everybody a question. How many of you have successfully completed a POC and pilot phase of the XR project? Raise your hands. You guys are deploying at scale. That's no surprise there. Digital transformation, it always goes through this adoption curve. We end up with they call POC purgatory, and we definitely are in that boat with everybody else. So both Gardner and Forrester agree. The top reasons that XR projects end up in that POC purgatory: poor internal alignment and failure to determine business impact. And usually the poor internal alignment, Bridgestone, I like to joke, we make silos and red tape, and tires are just a byproduct that we need to get rid of. I'm sure nobody else has that to deal with, where you're dealing with, people not talking to each other, trying to get that information shared. I mean, that last panel, they were hitting it on the head. Well, that division did it, but we don't make the exact same tire. Yeah, come on, guys, we're doing the same stuff here. Let's look at the technology, not about the details. So that's always something that everybody is fighting on that and trying to get over that. Can we do another POC? Can we do another pilot phase as we go through? So tonight, the last few things we're going to talk about here are challenges, the goals that we have, our process and approach, our learning and insight. And then if we have a few minutes left over, we'll do Q&A. And then after that, we can all go hit the bar. I believe there's happy hour after this, so it's all good things. Bridgestone, everybody knows, you associate Bridgestone with making tires. We have a great product out there. Making a good tire is as much an art as it is a science. When you're building a tire, you have to worry about the temperature, you have to worry about the humidity. There's a lot of robotics in there that you're working with and you're tying into. So, there's that art form where you need a tire builder, you need somebody that has that experience. We're a sustainable solutions company. So what that means is we have some very lofty goals for making sure that everything we do is environmentally sustainable. We have a zero carbon initiative, but we also have a couple other big initiatives inside the company where we understand that it doesn't just take machinery, it doesn't just take technology, but it's important that we have the people, we have the process, and we have the technology all together. I was talking, I think in the panel I was on earlier, talking to some folks afterwards, if I had all the money in the world, it doesn't matter if I don't have those SMEs that are going to help us with this project. And it's so hard right now to get those SMEs. Why is that? Because much like all of you, anybody, that's been around, had your eyes open in the last couple of months, year, we need everything from frontline workers to CEO level people. We need engineers, we need scientists, we need people to go out and do laser scanning. We need all these different things, and it's near impossible to fill that. And so we're constantly having to invest in people in very difficult environment. The workers, they want better wages, they want more engaging work, but employers, we're trying to increase productivity, we're trying to increase retention, and we're always trying to lower that cost and improve profit margins. Sometimes it seems like those are competing interests, but those actually can align. If you have a happy worker, they're going to make a lot more product and better quality than somebody that's upset. We believe that XR is one of those ways that we can do that. We can get people engaged very early on, doing something that kind of is a dirty job, but it can be a little bit more exciting whenever we go in there and we add XR to it. So what is it like before XR? Our legacy training, usually what it started out as is we had about a week of onboard training. This is where the bathroom is, what your benefits are, how do you do vacation, how do you notify your supervisor when you're sick, just all the basic stuff. Then we go into approximately 20 days of learning. So this is death by PowerPoint, just like what you guys are in here having to put up with right now. These guys have to go through 20 days of learning and understanding what the steps are to build that tire. There's about 130 to 160 steps that a tire builder at a single machine has to memorize. So they go through this PowerPoint pain for almost a month. Then what they do is they go out and they watch a trainer. So we take the best guy out there, best gal out there, and we have them go out and watch them for about a month. And they're kind of over the shoulder, mentoring a little bit there. And then after a month or so, they go out and they spend about 2 months going over where they'll take over some of it. The trainer will still do some. So we have our best tire builder in the entire plant, and he's or she is down because they're having to train this new trainee. And then once we finally get the trainee to where they're building a decent set of tires, it still takes another couple months for them to ramp up to hit what we call a ticket or full production. So, you got, somewhere in the neighborhood of a 6 to 9 month window to get somebody up to speed and get them trained. It's a very painful process, and it's something that we have to deal with every time we go through and train new people. Now, this is because of the one-on-one instruction that makes it very hard to scale. Like I said, the 6 to 9 months to get up to proficiency. So we're constantly fighting that. How many guys in here have dealt with large retirements? Come on, show of hands. I know y'all are tired. Bridgestone, whenever I started 10 years ago, probably 70% of the workforce was 25 years plus, 50, 60 years, some people. I mean, it's crazy how long people have been at Bridgestone. So these guys have been here 20, 30, 40 years are now retiring. How do we get that tribal knowledge loss? How do we capture that? So that's a huge problem for us. The new hires, they want more engaged modes of learning. They don't want to go through death by PowerPoint. They want a way that can be a little bit more interactive. And then, like I said, the efficiency gains, because we're taking the most efficient person we have offline to train somebody new. So not only the new person's slow, but then we're taking our best person and slowing them down even more. And then we're taking out the equipment that normally needs to be making tires to train somebody. We don't have a training machine per se, because it's a big, expensive, complicated machine. We don't have an extra one sitting around. So we actually have to take a production piece of machinery down to train these new hires. And once again, it's a loss of tires. And we have a very high quality standard. And so we don't really let those tires out whenever we're first training somebody. So as we ramp up that training, we're actually disposing of those tires, recycling them, turning them into playground mulch or whatever, so that we're not sending those out to put on people's cars. We don't like that happen. So, it ends up with thousands of tires that are wasted just for the training process every year as we ramp up and we're adding more and more users. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Hameed so he can talk to you a little bit about what are we doing, how we've been adjusting this, handling this, and what does that look like for us. Hameed?
Thank you, Andy. My name is Hameed Madwar, Innovation Manager with Bridgestone. I'm responsible for rolling out and pushing the XR technology across Bridgestone.
Oh, wrong one.
Oh, okay, you're already here. Yep. Okay. So before I get started about how we're using XR technology and about the business use case that we started with Bridgestone, first let me make a quick stop here and recap some of the goals that we have as a corporate goals and how we are tying them today with the XR strategy. First, one of our core goals is people, our team. And Bridgestone today is investing in our people. And one of the things that we're doing with the XR today is we're giving the opportunities to the people so they can invest in their skills or grow and strengthening their skills. And that is, and as we learned from many presenters today, is some of them, they talked about improving the retention even to 60%. So we're looking into improving our retention by 30% at least. Also, Bridgestone has a commitment to what they call it is the E8 commitment. So what are these E8? I'm not going to go through all of them, but some of them are energy, ecology, economy. Generally, it's about sustainability, about the environment. And the way we're using XR technology today is by shifting some of the hands-on work or the training that happens on the machine, as Andy stated, and we're doing those virtually. That will result in eliminating the waste by about 70%. Basically, it's the waste that is generated during the training, and it is the rubber waste of the material that we're generating with that. Also, we're looking into Bridgestone, where we have a solution for our journey to the Industry 4.0. What that means in general is the increase in efficiency, the increase in quality, and also in the speed of how we're doing business. For the XR, what that means is we're reducing the training time by 40%. We're improving the machine downtime, improving the machine uptime by 25%, and also we're accelerating the attainment by 40% as well.
Yeah, we call it ticket attainment. That means how much are we making based on what are our, we say we want to make this many tires per day. We want to make sure we hit that ticket as fast as possible when we're training new people.
So let's get a little bit here on depth and talk about what are we doing with the XR for our training. So as you can see here, we found that the training the frontline workers in a virtual environment before they arrive on the front lines addresses the challenges and the difficulties that both me and Andy explained earlier. Once the workers get some confidence in the instructions and the steps that they are doing, we start to move those people into, or the new hires, into an AR, augmented reality assistance environment. And when they move to that environment, we're leveraging the Microsoft Dynamics 36.5 guides, and we're providing them with the same, pretty much the same or similar instructions that they used before in the virtual training, and also we're providing them with the same interface. They're not gonna get like that much of a bigger change in the environment that they're doing. So they are seamlessly continuing from a virtual training into an augmented training on a physical machine. So that's, and it helps a lot in reducing the difficulties and all the challenges that we're seeing by doing this approach. So how does our process looks like, or our XR process looks like? So it's about, we have like 5 steps how we summarize it. First, we develop a strategy that is tied to our business, and it's about the KPI that drives the values for our customers and partners, and also help them make the KPI and the return of investment to be able to make better tires. And the way we do that is by identifying the use cases and rebuilding the curriculum about that. So we start with the engineering standards or the SOPs that we have in place, and we convert them into like experiences, virtual experiences. So we start with that, and that takes me to this step number 3, where we're creating the animations and the simulation. And when we start creating those, we leverage our 3D models for our machines, the tire making machines. Some of these models do not exist, so we start to building the new ones if we have to.
And just an important step to note here is when we're going from that paper process over to a digital process, we're not just digitizing it. We're actually looking for improvements in the process as we go. What are things that we can do that you couldn't do on paper that we can do with XR? And then, what are steps that we can take out?
And the 4th step is about roll out the training and the task guidance. What that means is we're ready at that point to roll it out to our customers, to the trainers or the training centers, so they can use what we developed and they start using it. And the way we do that is actually very simple. We think big, but we start small, and then we scale it as we go, and we try to scale it fast. And also when we come to with the 5th step is about measuring. So that's how we assess our outcomes and the business impact. The way also we do that is we also measure our success the same way we measure the failure points. So not many people think about the success, like if it's something is succeed, they move on, it's successful. But it's really great to stop at there and try to measure what made this project successful, how we can learn from it, how we can also improve it. And the key thing is to always measure it at every stage. And this brings me to the last step, which is the sixth step here, is the execute for the change management plans. So that when we're doing the measurement at every, or the measure at every stage, it allows us to actually to speak better to our partners internally, to talk to basically to network with other plants or with other engineering departments, so they are aware of the technology, and we are building some type of an inclusive technology environment around us where they can adopt the technology and use it at their ends as well. And the clicker mode on here. So here I'm gonna show you a quick 2 minutes video on what we have chose a solution. As you can see here, we chose a solution that is scalable. So we can take that solution, we can use our own data in-house, and then we can upload the 3D geometry. And also we build this, the instructions also. It's not only the software that we're using, as you can see here, we're also using the instructions where we put, it's more like a data entry, no code is required. But at the same time, because it is one of the first projects, we picked a machine that is also scalable and it's available everywhere. Now we cannot share this machine here because it's very highly confidential, but we picked one of these machines here. It's a heat exchanger machine. The instructions that usually in our machines are pretty complex. We're talking about 150 steps. And 150 steps is difficult to have someone to memorize these steps or to get familiar with just through a PowerPoint or PDF documents that they go over. So they have to build this memory muscle as they are doing, as they are learning. And they have different ways to do it. There's the interactive way where they grab something, they can read the instructions. Also, there's speech to text that it reads the information for them. So there's all these tools that we're providing for them, and it's all one-to-one scale. So it's a machine like a 20-foot wide, or also 20, maybe 50-foot width as well. It's pretty big, and we make the trainees to walk around it so they can know or understand the depth of the machine as they are walking around it, and they are doing the work instructions also on the machine. And it also has a collaborative environment where we can train multiple people at the same time. So it can speed up our training process as well. And also, finally, here you could see the dashboard that collects the statistics about the success. If someone has missed has a step, for example, or if we did the training for a lot of people, and maybe these people, most of them they have struggled at this point, so we can actually tweak our training so we can address those issues in the future. Our approach, how we took this from a proof of concept and how we run with that concept is, first, we partnered with Altura, and we provided our 3D content. They helped us, and we call it the crawl phase, by the way. So we started with something called the crawl phase, then we moved to the walk, and then the run. So with the crawl phase, as I said, we partnered with Altura. We took their platform, and also we provided the 3D content. They helped us in creating the engineering standards, which they are the steps to complete or to build a tire on one of our machines. In the walk phase, and we actually moved really quickly from the crawl phase into the walk phase. There is two reasons for that. The first reason, Bridgestone is not new in this technology. We've been investing in this for a while. We have our own infrastructures. We have a good footprint of our HoloLenses deployed everywhere across Bridgestone plants. And also, the other reason is we have our 3D models are coming really mature, especially when we pick this machine. We know that the 3D models for this machine, we have it. So that allowed us to really move quickly from a crawl phase into into the pilot phase or the walk phase. And on the walk phase, we try to standardize on the XR equipment, the platform, the processes. And also in that stage is we're training Bridgestone employees on how to use the tools. So in the next one, which is the run phase, we're gonna start using using the platform, using the technology to create our own, and then scale it and expand it. And as we're thinking about the expanding, also we're also thinking about expanding the XR team, which is the content creators, the support also for the technology, and so forth.
2 minutes left.
So before we end, this is some key learnings and insight for everyone here, and then we're going to open it for a Q&A. So really very quick, how we did the approach, why we're using the XR is first, build the business case to deliver your business goals. And we think about it is really think about a business case or a use case that can limit those benefits or the ROI that you're trying to achieve. For example, when we build this machine, we build it as it is normal conditions, but also it has its abnormal conditions also. So we did not think about the whole approach and then we tried to complete everything with the machine. So we built the first phase, normal machine, conditions, and then we moved on. The second phase is you really need to have the buy-in from your management and secure your executive sponsor early in the process. So you might want to think about having those discussions earlier in the process as well. And also it's very important to build your cross-functional team across the company also as well, and think about the stack or the platform that you want to implement, like scalability of that, how scalable, how you want to use it in the future, how you want to support it as well. And also build the champions across the company, like build the people who can use this technology, and also the people who are they can support it and also bring their experience level to a certain point where at every location you have maybe an XR person where they can support it and build and support the local teams at every location.
My boss likes to say, we're playing a game here, so you want to make sure your staff people that want to play the game. So we want to make sure that we're building those champions with people that want to get on board.
Yeah. And the last point here I'm going to end with is measure, measure, measure. The same way that everyone measures the failure, also measure the success as you're going with the tools or with the rollout for the technology, because very, very important that we know the success, what made this tool successful, so we can improve it and build on it. Thank you, everyone.
Any last minute questions? Turn it back over. All right, guys. Coming back up here to give us closing remarks. We'll be out at the happy hour here in 10 minutes or whatever. So if you guys have any questions for us, please come see us. And I will turn it back over to Sean. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Thank you.